everybody, my name is Tavia Jackson, and this is the I'm Not Her, The Real You Takeover with Sonia Battle. So who am I? I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm a Christian, I'm a speaker, I'm a makeup artist. Why? Because I care about the inner you and the outer you. So let me tell you why we're here today. I'm going to talk about people pleasing. When I was 33 years old, I found myself hurt and devastated to my emotional core. I was in pain deeper than I had ever thought or knew imagined. I cried my eyes out. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And I had no idea how to describe this feeling of deep despair to anybody. That feeling where when it was time to go to bed, I just started crying because I knew I wasn't going to get a full night's sleep. Like, what's the use? What am I even doing right now? I know I'm not going to sleep well. And it was this overwhelming feeling. And where did that come from? Relationship disappointments. And I remember saying, God, I know who you are. If you could just touch me, just like this, everything would go away immediately. I know who you are. That's all I need. And he said, if I did that, you couldn't help anybody. I need you to go through the process. So what did that look like to me? I'm going to share a part of my healing journey and how I moved from being a people pleaser to being my authentic self and to being free. And one of the things I realized was a quote that Pastor 83 said, who around you needs to see you navigate pain? So through my healing journey, I started reading books. And I'll never forget, one night I was reading a book and the lady said, if you look at life as not rocking the boat to create a sense of peace, that's a false sense of peace. Here I am all this time thinking I'm being a good wife and a good friend and a good sister, a good buddy, keeping the peace, not saying things, not expressing my emotions, not communicating when I'm hurt, afraid, when I think something shouldn't happen, because I think I'm keeping the peace. But that was a false sense of peace. Basically, it's a lie, and I wasn't being my authentic self. So where did this come from? Well, even in the book it says, if you grew up in a high love and a high authoritarian home, you often have this don't rock the boat mentality. That was the mentality of don't cause any trouble, don't cause any friction, because if you do, you might get ostracized, or this person will have a problem with you, or that person will have a problem with you. And I didn't realize that I took that as a 10-year-old all the way through life up until that point. And that brought me to a place in life where I was hurt, I was unsatisfied, and the things I saw, it wasn't a surprise. It was just things I didn't say anything about. Why? Because I didn't want to rock the boat. Why? Because I was being a people pleaser. So what's a people pleaser? So at first, I had no idea that I was a people pleaser. But when I was going through this healing process, I kept hearing this word, people pleaser. Not me. I don't know where that's coming from. Clearly, it's not me. I would keep working, then I would hear, people pleaser. Why do I keep hearing that? Maybe it's for somebody else. People pleaser. Fine, okay, fine. I'll Google it. So I go to my computer and I Google people pleaser. And I see these 3 questions. How do you know if you're a people pleaser? 1, are you honest with others? Am I honest with others? Sometimes. Am I honest with others? Do I share my genuine opinion, my thoughts, my feelings? If somebody bothers me or upsets me, do I tell them? If somebody hurts my feelings, do I share that? No. Why? Because I'm thinking maybe they'll be mad at me. Maybe they won't talk to me anymore if I tell them this. All of these things I was thinking would keep them happy, but I wasn't happy. Number 2, are you acting out of duty and desire? Is it an obligation, or is it because you really want to do it? That was a kicker. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. There are a lot of duties that we need to do. Wash the clothes. You can't just say, I don't desire to do that. There's a line. There are certain duties that absolutely need to get done. But there are times when we're doing things out of obligation and we have absolutely no desire and no want to do things. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Have you ever been in that place where you just said yes out of the feeling of obligation, but you truly had no desire to do it whatsoever? And then question number 3, do you say yes to people because you're afraid to say no? You're afraid of what their response will be. When I read that question, I said, oh, no wonder why I kept hearing that word people pleaser. Guess I needed to read the rest of this little article here. So, for example, are you afraid to tell somebody no? One day, somebody sent a text and said, hey, we have this event going on so-and-so a day, and you can come meet us at this time. And they didn't really ask me. They literally told me what I was doing on a certain day and a time. And I sat there and I looked at that text message probably for about 30 minutes. And I had no desire to go, and I had no desire to be with those people. But I thought, what are they going to say if I say no? And the struggle, people, the struggle was real. Now, if you don't have an issue with this, you don't get it. Like my husband, he was like, no, I'm not going. Boom. Don't even think about it a second time. But me, I'm going to think about it for hours. So here I am deliberating on how I can communicate this. If I'm going to show up, should I say I'll come for 30 minutes? What should I do? And I finally decided being my authentic self is just saying, I'm not going to be able to make it. And then I said, no, that's not true. It's not about me being able to. I'm just not. So step 1 of building momentum in this is being honest with yourself. Not just that you can't do something. Just go ahead and flat-footedly say, I won't be doing something. Because that's the real truth. It's not whether I can. We all have choices in everything we do. Just be still in your truth and say, I'm not going to be there. And let it be. Now, I've grown to that place. But when I sent that nice little text, I said, I won't be there. I know you guys are going to have an awesome time. I kept checking my phone to see what they were going to say. Are they okay with this? Are they going to say, no problem, girl? Do you know, 2 hours later, no text back. And I'm looking at my phone every 5 hours. Finally, I said, this is how I knew I had a problem. But I'm getting free. I'm building my momentum. I'm building being my authentic self. And I told myself that person's response to me saying no is really not my problem. And we're prone to have that pressure to fit in because we desire to fit in. We desire to be accepted. But there's a difference between the desire for acceptance and people pleasing. People pleasing isn't just a once in a while thing. It's a day-to-day, everyday event to walk out. So in that situation, I won. But the next day, there's always a new situation. Every day, there's an opportunity for you to be your authentic self. Even with makeup, I learned to do things a specific way, and I stayed in my little box. Oh, this is how we do it. This is how we contour. This is the order that we do it in. Don't do that. Don't use this color. Don't use that lip. Don't use that liner. And I stayed in this cute little box. And one day I went to New York and I met with one of my mentor, Mally Magic. And she said, so I need you to find yourself in the paint and get outside the box. And I realized, even in this, I'm listening to these people who don't have a vested interest in my future, who have told me I had to do it this way, but it wasn't the truth. Why am I even trying to please them? I don't even personally know them. But here are some signs of people pleasing. 1, you struggle to say no. 2, you find it hard to be assertive and voice your opinions. 3, you're hypervigilant about being perceived from others and getting rejection from others. Number 4, you're ematophobe, meaning you fear negative emotions. I don't want anybody to feel bad. I don't want them to feel sad. I don't want to tell them I'm offended. All these things, if you fear those negative emotions, that's another thing that's going to drive that. Another one, you're excessively altruistic. And the last one is you suffer at the expense of doing favors for others. You go, go, go. What about self-care, people? My friend Shamira talks about that all the time. Are we doing some self-care? What are we doing? Are we just going, never taking a moment for ourselves? What gave me strength was realizing in some situations I was doing things because I did not stand up. I never stood up and I never stood in my truth. And when things start falling around you in life and people aren't treating you the way you want to, you have to ask yourself, did I teach them how to treat me? Or was I too afraid to speak up? Was I trying not to rock the boat, being a people pleaser? Is that why I'm in my situation today? It doesn't matter if it's a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a friend, a boyfriend, a husband, a child, a teacher, a boss, a coworker. We have to teach everybody how to treat us. And I'm speaking boldly today, but the first times I had to speak my truth, I was so apprehensive. One day I remember I made a list of things to talk about with my husband. And all day my leg was shaking thinking, how am I going to say this? What's going to happen when I say this? So I sat down and I said, I have some things I'd like to share with you. And I sat down and I shared things that I wanted to say for years that I had never said. And I wanted to just close up my notebook and run to the other room after I finished speaking, but I had to sit there. And thankfully, he received everything I said and it wasn't a problem. And I was thinking, phew, that wasn't so bad. All this time, I've held these things in. But the more you become your authentic self, you will gain momentum and you will become more aware and you will become stronger. There's a quote by Yvonne Pierce that says, the increased desire to please God and seek his approval will decrease your desire to seek approval from man. So I had to think about God as well. Am I doing what he asked, or I'm just trying to make other people happy? Also, stop ignoring your thoughts and your feelings. If you feel a certain way, pay attention to it. There's a reason for that. Think about it, communicate it. Make decisions not just because of what the other person will think. If it doesn't line up with your morals, if it doesn't line up with your integrity, if it doesn't line up with what you want to do with your time, where you're going, the group that you want to be around, it's okay to gracefully bow out. Another thing, stop saying, I don't know after everything you say, because you're diminishing yourself. You're saying, I don't really know my truth. And you're telling people, don't fully believe what I said and that I can't confidently stand in it. So friends, no more saying, so-and-so and so, I feel this way. And then saying, I don't know. Oh, I don't. Yes, you do know. You knew it. You said it. Stand on it. Be firm and be your authentic self. I have this thing with my makeup business where I say, girl, wash your face. And when I say, girl, wash your face, that doesn't mean to just get a rag and some soap and wash your face. It means wash away the dirt that life has put on you. It means wash away the pain, wash away the things that have caused you to not be your authentic self. Wash away the approval and the need that you have to make others happy at the expense of yourself and your desires and your time and sometimes even your money. It's time to walk in freedom. It's time to walk in love. It's time to be your authentic self. Have balance, acknowledgement, and awareness. It's time out for people pleasing. It's time to be focused and aware of who we are and what we should really be doing. And it's time to put God first. What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to be? Because ultimately, that's my grace place. Well, folks, that's all for this edition of I'm Not Her, The Real You Takeover. Today, we talked about people pleasing. Thank you.